Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you the sequel of I'm Sorry I Love You.
Part 2.
Part 2.
That's right.
I guess a lot of our listeners enjoyed the first part. Mm-hmm. And since it was such a romantic dialogue and hit, we're bringing part 2. So it's even more romantic, and I'm sure everyone is going to find some great and useful language in it.
That's right. We've got language that we use to talk about dates.
A date, yeah. Mm-hmm. So useful language for when you're going on a date.
That's right. Well, before we look at this date language, let's listen to the dialogue for the first time.
I'm so relieved that your ankle wasn't broken. I feel just awful about this whole thing. I want to make it up to you. Let me take you out to dinner tonight, my treat.
Oh, that sounds great. I'd love to. Here's my address. Pick me up at 8.
Perfect.
Thank you for such a lovely evening. The food was amazing, and I had a great time.
Me too. You look so beautiful tonight. I wish this night would never end. There's something that I have to tell you.
But what is it?
I woke up today thinking that this would be just like any other day. But I was wrong. The twist of fate brought us together. I crashed into your life and you into mine, and this may sound crazy, but I'm falling in love with you, Veronica.
Wow, such a romantic dialogue.
It really sounds like they're falling in love.
Yeah, it's a really romantic thing that's going on right now, but there was some really useful words here, so why don't we take a look at language takeaway?
Language takeaway.
Today, we have 3 words for language takeaway, and the first one is relieved.
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 So we have some great examples on how we use relieved, and I'm really sure you can understand the meaning from the sentences.
Example 1. They were relieved to hear that the company would not be making any layoffs. Example 2.
I'm so relieved to hear your voice. I was worried something happened to you.
I guess relieved is like a happy or relaxed feeling that you get if you avoid something bad, right?
Right. I'm so relieved that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now for our second word, pick me up.
Pick me up.
Pick me up.
So when you ask someone to pick you up, you're saying basically...
Come and get me.
Okay, so let's give a couple of examples.
All right.
My husband was supposed to pick me up from work yesterday, but he forgot.
Does that really happen?
Yes.
All right, we'll have a talk with him. Or we could also say, oh, I need to hurry up. The taxi will pick me up at 7.
Yes. So come and get me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Pick me up.
And our final word in today's language takeaway is...
Ordinary.
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 So ordinary is a normal word.
Yes. Meaning...
It's normal.
Uh-huh.
Nothing uncommon about it.
Yeah.
So you can have like an ordinary person.
An ordinary day.
An ordinary day. Ordinary life.
Uh-huh.
Nothing exciting about it. What else is ordinary?
Ordinary podcast.
An ordinary podcast, which English Pod is
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ordinary. Okay, great words. And I guess now we can listen to our dialogue a second time.
This time it'll be a little bit slower, and this will help you to understand the language more clearly.
I'm so relieved that your ankle wasn't broken. I feel just awful about this whole thing. I want to make it up to you. Let me take you out to dinner tonight. My treat.
That sounds great. I'd love to. Here is my address. Pick me up at 8?
Perfect.
Thank you for such a lovely evening. The food was amazing, and I had a great time.
Me too. You look so beautiful tonight. I wish this night would never end. There's something I have to tell you.
What is it?
I woke up today thinking this would be just like any other ordinary day, but I was wrong. A twist of fate brought us together. I crashed into your life and you into mine, And this may sound crazy, but I'm falling in love with you, Veronica.
Okay, so we looked at some great vocabulary, and now we can look at some great phrases. So let's start with Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
On Fluency Builder today, we have 3 great phrases. So why don't we just start with the first one?
Yeah, the first one we heard at the beginning of the dialogue. Make it up to you.
Make it up to you.
Make it up to you.
Okay, so we have some great examples on how we use make it up. So let's listen.
Example 1. I'm sorry I forgot your birthday. How can I make it up to you? Example 2.
I feel terrible for calling your mother fat. I want to make it up to her, so I got her these flowers.
Example 3. John forgot my anniversary again. He's going to have to make it up to me.
We can see from the examples that when you use the phrase make it up to you, you're kind of saying you want to balance something bad you did with some good action, right?
Right, so if you call your mother-in-law fat...
You better buy her at least some flowers or a card or something.
To make it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bad action was...
calling her fat.
And the balancing good action was the flowers.
Oh, the flowers, yeah. I don't think flowers will be enough, though.
Looks like a doomed marriage.
Okay, our second phrase, my treat.
My treat.
My treat.
So we use this phrase when we want to say, I'll invite you. I'll pay for you.
I'll pay.
Uh-huh.
Right, so I can say, hey, let's go get some beers. It's my treat.
Ooh, thanks, Marco.
So I'm paying, right?
Yeah.
My treat. And our last phrase for Fluency Builder, a twist of fate.
A twist of fate.
Twist of fate.
A twist of fate.
So, Erica, what is a twist of fate?
A twist of fate is an unplanned event that has a big impact on your future or your life.
Okay.
Marco, can you give us an example of a twist of fate?
All right. For example, okay, you're supposed to catch a flight to another country. All right. But you're late, so you miss your flight.
Okay.
And that flight crashes.
Wow.
Right. So
that's a twist of fate.
So yeah, it's like fate. It's like destiny.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to be on that flight.
Okay, so a twist of fate.
A twist of fate.
Great. On a happier note, let's listen to the dialogue a third time.
I'm so relieved that your ankle wasn't broken. I feel just awful about this whole thing. I want to make it up to you. Let me take you out to dinner tonight, my treat.
Oh, that sounds great. I'd love to. Here's my address. Pick me up at 8.
Perfect.
Thank you for such a lovely evening. The food was amazing and I had a great time.
Me too. You look so beautiful tonight. I wish this night would never end. There's something that I have to tell you.
But what is it?
I woke up today thinking that this would be just like any other day. And I was wrong. The twist of fate brought us together. I crashed into your life and you into mine, and this may sound crazy, but I'm falling in love with you, Veronica.
Okay, so we're back. Erica, I know you have a story of a twist of fate in your life.
Yes. Recently, actually, this happened. I went to this party, and at the party, there was a contest, like sort of a lottery. Mm-hmm. You could buy some tickets and win a prize, and the prize was a week-long vacation.
Okay.
So I went with some friends of mine, and they were tired, so they left early, and they gave me their tickets. And guess what happened?
What happened?
We won. We won the week-long vacation.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. So that was a really lucky twist of fate for me.
A lucky twist of fate. Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't that good of a twist of fate for your friends.
Yeah, but they were very generous and let me have the prize anyway.
All right. Well, we want to hear your stories of maybe some type of twist of fate that you've had.
Yes.
Maybe love stories, maybe tragic stories, any story.
Talking about love and dating in English. Whether it's asking someone out, going on a romantic date, or just expressing how you feel, knowing the right words can make a huge difference. And it's not just for romance. Many of these expressions are helpful for everyday conversations, too. Let's start with a common situation. Imagine you meet someone new and you feel a connection. You want to spend more time with them, so you invite them to go somewhere. In English, this is often called asking someone out. You can say, "Would you like to go out for dinner sometime?" Or, "I was wondering if you'd like to grab a coffee this weekend." These are polite, natural ways to show interest without being too direct. Now suppose they say yes. Great, you got a date. And here comes one of the most useful expressions you'll hear, my treat. This means I'm paying. For example, you can say, "Don't worry about the bill. This one's my treat." It's a friendly and generous phrase, and people use it not just on dates, but also with friends and family. Another helpful phrase is pick me up. This is often used when one person is driving to meet the other. For instance, pick me up at 7, or can you pick me up on your way? It's short, casual, and part of everyday English. If you're not the one driving, this is a phrase you'll use a lot. Let's talk about emotions for a moment. When you're nervous before a date and then you realize everything is going well, you might feel relieved. That word means you were worried something bad would happen, but it didn't. You could say, "I'm so relieved the evening turned out great." Or, "I was afraid I said something wrong, but I'm relieved she laughed." This is a very useful emotion word in English, clear, strong, and very human. Now, what if the date was special? Maybe it started as just another day, but something unexpected happened. You had a great time, felt something new, or made a real connection. That's when you might describe the moment as a twist of fate. This phrase is poetic and powerful. It means something surprising happened that changed everything. You can say, "It was just an ordinary day, but a twist of fate brought us together." It's often used in stories, movies, and romantic moments, but it's also a beautiful way to talk about how unexpected life can be. And speaking of ordinary, that word simply means normal, usual, not special. But in English, we often use it to describe how something felt before it turned into something amazing. Like, "I thought it was going to be an ordinary evening, but it turned out to be the best night of my life." That contrast between ordinary and extraordinary is what gives language its emotional power. So today, we've touched on how to ask someone out, how to talk about paying for a date, how to express emotions like relief, and how to describe a surprising, life-changing moment. All of these expressions are natural, real, and very useful. Whether you're in love, hoping to fall in love, or just watching a romantic movie, these are the kinds of phrases that will help you understand and speak English more fluently. When we talk about dating in English, we're not just talking about romance. We're talking about real-life language that helps you connect with people, express feelings, and share experiences. Today, let's go deeper into useful vocabulary and expressions that can turn simple conversations into something meaningful. Let's start with the phrase, "make it up to you." This is something you say when you've done something wrong or when something didn't go well and you want to fix it. Imagine you were late for a date, or maybe you forgot a special occasion. You can say, "I'm so sorry. Let me make it up to you. I'll take you out to your favorite restaurant." It's a powerful phrase that shows responsibility and care. It's not just about saying sorry. It's about doing something to make the situation better. You can also use it in more casual situations. For example, "I missed your birthday, but I promise to make it up to you with a big surprise." The structure is simple. Make it up to someone. It shows effort, and it's a great way to rebuild trust in both romantic and friendly relationships. Now, let's move to emotions again. When you're really enjoying time with someone, you might say, "I had a great time." This is a very common phrase in English. It's warm, positive, and honest. If someone took you out, Or even if you just had a coffee and a nice talk, saying, I had a great time, is a perfect way to let them know you enjoyed it. Another lovely expression is, you look beautiful tonight. Compliments are an important part of romantic language, but they also need to sound sincere. If you want to sound natural, you can say, you look amazing, that color really suits you, or you have a lovely smile. The key is not to overdo it. A simple, kind compliment can go a long way. Let's also look at one of the most emotional phrases in English. I'm falling in love with you. This phrase is deep, powerful, and honest. But you don't have to go that far if you're not ready. There are other ways to express affection. You could say, I really enjoy spending time with you, or I feel close to you. These are still strong, but a little more subtle. The more natural you sound, the more genuine your words will feel. Now, let's talk about storytelling language. English speakers love to talk about how things began. It's very common to hear someone say, I thought it would be just another day, and then share how something unexpected happened. For example, I thought it was just going to be an ordinary lunch, but I met someone really special. That's how we express surprise, destiny, and change all in one sentence. It makes stories more emotional and memorable. And one last phrase for today. I wish this night would never end. This is a romantic expression often used when people are having a perfect evening. It's a beautiful way to say, I'm enjoying this moment so much, I don't want it to stop. You don't have to use it only in love stories. It works in many situations, like a fun party or a peaceful walk. So now you have more tools to express care, apologize, share feelings, and tell meaningful stories in English. These aren't just phrases from movies. They're part of real-life communication. The more you hear them, the more you'll feel them. And the more you practice them, the more confident and natural your English will become. Let's explore some of the emotional vocabulary and storytelling techniques that English speakers often use when talking about relationships and special moments. These words and expressions are not only romantic, they're also full of character and warmth. They help you describe events, feelings, and thoughts in a way that feels deep and personal. One expression that's very poetic is a twist of fate. This phrase is often used when something unexpected changes your life. In love stories, a twist of fate might be the moment when two people meet by chance, like bumping into each other at a bookstore or sitting next to each other on a flight. It's the idea that something unplanned and surprising happens, and it leads to something beautiful. You might say, by a twist of fate, we ended up in the same city at the same time. This kind of phrase gives your story a touch of destiny, something larger than life. Next, let's talk about how we describe the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. The word ordinary means normal, usual, or not special. But in love stories and in real life, ordinary moments can suddenly become unforgettable. Imagine this sentence. I woke up thinking it would be just an ordinary day, but then everything changed. That's how you build interest in your story. You show the contrast between what you expected and what really happened. This is a simple way to bring emotion and surprise into your English storytelling. Another expression that adds emotional color is crash into someone's life. Of course, we don't mean this literally. It's not about a car crash. It's a creative way to say that someone entered your life suddenly and powerfully. You might hear someone say, he just crashed into my life and nothing was the same after that. It's dramatic, but English speakers love using this kind of metaphor to describe emotional impact. When you use a phrase like that, it makes your English more vivid and expressive. Let's also look at ways to describe strong feelings. When someone says, I feel just awful, they're expressing deep regret or sadness. It's stronger than simply saying, I feel bad. You might say, I forgot our anniversary and I feel just awful. This kind of emotional honesty is very common in English. We often use it to show how much we care, especially when we want to fix a mistake. And when you want to make someone feel special, a beautiful phrase is, thank you for such a lovely evening. It's polite, kind, and meaningful. You can also say, I really enjoyed tonight, or that was a wonderful time. These expressions help end the night on a warm note, showing appreciation in a gentle and thoughtful way. You may also hear people say things like, I wish this night would never end. This is something you say when you're enjoying the moment so much that you don't want it to stop. It's romantic, yes, but also useful in other situations. For example, after a great family dinner or an amazing concert, you might say the same thing. The beauty of all these phrases is how natural and emotional they are. They let you share your thoughts in a way that connects with others, not just with words, but with feeling. The more you use this kind of expressive language, the more powerful and human your English will sound. And that's what communication is really about. Not just grammar or vocabulary, but connection. Now let's focus on how English speakers express romantic interest in someone through invitations and compliments. These are two important parts of dating language, and they need to sound natural, not forced. Whether you're asking someone out or just letting them know you care, there are simple, effective ways to do in English. Let's begin with inviting someone out. One of the most polite and friendly ways is by saying, "Would you like to go out for dinner sometime?" This question is soft, respectful, and gives the other person space to say yes or no comfortably. Another common way is, "Are you free this weekend? I was thinking we could check out that new cafe." These kinds of invitations feel casual but thoughtful. They show you're interested in spending time with the person without putting too much pressure on them. If you want to be more direct, you can use the phrase, "Let me take you out." For example, "Let me take you out to dinner. It's my treat." This sentence is strong but still polite. It shows that you're willing to plan something and pay for it, which many people see as a kind and generous gesture. Now about the phrase, "my treat." This is a short way of saying "I'll pay." It's often used when you invite someone to dinner or to do something enjoyable. You might hear, "Lunch is on me today, my treat." Or "Let's go to the movies. Don't worry about the tickets, it's my treat." This phrase is not only polite, it's also warm and generous. It creates a comfortable feeling in the conversation. Let's move on to compliments. Giving compliments in English can be tricky. If you say too much, it might feel strange. But when done the right way, compliments make people feel appreciated and noticed. One of the most classic and sincere compliments is, "You look beautiful tonight." It's simple and romantic, but also respectful. For more variety, try "That color really suits you," or "You have a great smile." These are softer, more casual compliments that still feel genuine. Compliments aren't only about appearance. You can also say things like, "I love how easy it is to talk to you," or "I really enjoy being around you." These kinds of compliments focus on the person's character or the connection you feel with them, and that can be even more meaningful. Now let's add a bit of storytelling again. When you describe your emotions or the date itself, it's common to use phrases that add charm or mystery. For example, "I wasn't expecting much tonight, but you've made my evening." Or, "This feels like something out of a movie." These phrases are poetic and often heard in romantic settings. They make the moment feel more special. Sometimes, English speakers add humor or surprise to what they say, especially if they feel nervous. A light joke like, "If this date goes well, I'll buy dessert too," adds a little fun. Humor can break the tension and make the other person feel relaxed. Finally, remember to show appreciation. At the end of the date, saying something like, "Thanks for tonight. I had a great time," or "I'm really glad we did this," leaves a warm impression. It's polite, honest, and makes the other person feel valued. Romantic English doesn't have to be complicated. It's about being clear, kind, and a little creative. With the right tone and words, you can express interest, offer compliments, and create moments that feel both natural and meaningful. These are the tools that help real relationships begin and grow. Now let's focus on how to express emotions in English, especially when those feelings are strong or complicated. In romantic situations, people often want to say how much someone means to them, how something made them feel, or how their feelings have changed. English offers a lot of beautiful, expressive phrases to help you do that. Phrases that go beyond just "I like you" or "I love you." Let's start with the phrase "falling in love." This is used when someone is in the process of developing strong romantic feelings. It's softer than saying "I love you," and it shows that your emotions are growing. You might say, "I think I'm falling in love with you," or even, "I didn't expect this, but I'm starting to fall for you." These phrases are honest and vulnerable. They're often used when a relationship is moving from friendship or attraction to something deeper. Another useful expression is, "I've never felt this way before." This phrase shows that your feelings are new and special. It sounds personal and sincere. You can use it to describe both romantic and emotional moments. For example, "Being with you feels different. I've never felt this way before." That's a powerful sentence. It shows the other person that they're important to you. Sometimes, people want to share their surprise about how emotions developed. In that case, a great phrase is, "I didn't see this coming." You can say, "Honestly, I didn't see this coming, but I really care about you." This kind of language is often used when something unexpected becomes meaningful. It's real, and it shows how feelings can grow naturally. Let's also look at the word chemistry. In English, when two people feel a strong connection or attraction, we often say, "There's chemistry between us." You could also say, "I feel a real connection," or "We just click." These phrases are common when describing how easy and natural it feels to be around someone. Another emotional expression that English speakers often use is, "You mean a lot to me." This isn't necessarily romantic. It can be used with friends or family too. But in romantic conversations, it helps you express how important someone is without saying too much too soon. You can also say, "You've become really special to me." These phrases show deep respect and care. Now, let's talk about the power of timing in emotional conversations. In English-speaking cultures, people usually wait for the right moment to say something deep. And when that moment comes, it's often introduced with a soft opening. For example, "There's something I've been meaning to tell you," or "I need to say something that's been on my mind." These kinds of phrases prepare the listener and show that you're serious about what you're going to say next. Also, be aware of your tone when expressing emotion. Speak gently, clearly, and with pauses if needed. In romantic conversations, how you say something is just as important as the words themselves. A soft voice and a calm pace make everything more sincere. Here's one more expression that's full of feeling. "I wish this moment could last forever." People often say this when they're experiencing something beautiful, maybe a perfect dinner, a quiet walk, or a deep conversation. It shows that they don't want it to end. You can also say, "I'll never forget this night." These phrases make the moment feel more meaningful. So when you're talking about feelings in English, whether it's falling in love, feeling close to someone, or being caught by surprise, use these kinds of phrases to speak from the heart. When your words match your emotions, your message becomes powerful, personal, and unforgettable. Let's now look at how to use storytelling to express romantic or emotional experiences in English. Storytelling is a powerful part of English conversation, especially when talking about relationships, dates, or special memories. People love to hear stories that feel real, ones with feelings, surprises, and little details that bring everything to life. A good way to begin a personal story in English is with a phrase like, "It all started when," or "I didn't expect anything special, but then." These kinds of openers set the scene. For example, "It all started when I went to a friend's party, and I had no idea I would meet someone who would change everything." This is how you pull someone into the story. You create curiosity, and then you lead them through the experience step by step. Let's say you're telling the story of your first date. It's helpful to use past tense verbs and time expressions like "then," "after that," "suddenly," "at that moment." You might say, "We met at the cafe, talked for hours, and then took a walk by the river. It was cold, but I didn't even feel it. I was just happy to be there." That kind of sentence feels real and warm. It mixes description with feeling, which is the heart of good storytelling. Another useful storytelling tool is contrast. English speakers love to show how things changed. You can say, "At first, I thought it would be boring, but by the end, I didn't want the night to end." Or, "We were complete strangers just hours ago, and now it feels like we've known each other forever." These contrasts help your listener feel the journey, not just hear about it. Also, metaphors and poetic phrases are often used in romantic stories. For example, "It felt like something from a movie," or "the whole evening was like a dream." These may sound dramatic, but they're very common in English when people talk about love or meaningful experiences. You can also say things like, we laughed like we were old friends, or time seemed to stop for a while. These images make your story more vivid and emotional. If something went wrong on the date but ended up okay, you can use the phrase to make up for it. For example, I spilled coffee on myself at the start of the date, but we laughed it off, and the great conversation made up for it. This phrase helps you show how a negative moment can turn into something positive. It's part of what makes a story relatable and human. You might also include phrases that show your emotional state. Words like nervous, excited, curious, surprised, overwhelmed, or grateful help explain how you felt in the moment. For example, I was nervous at first, but as soon as we started talking, I felt completely at ease. Emotional vocabulary makes your storytelling deeper and more engaging. Let's not forget the ending. When you wrap up a romantic story in English, you can say something like, I didn't expect any of this, but I'm really glad it happened. Or, looking back, that night changed everything. These kinds of endings help give your story meaning and leave your listener with a lasting impression. Storytelling is a key part of English fluency. It helps you connect with others, express your feelings, and bring your memories to life. And when it comes to love and relationships, telling your story well is one of the most human and beautiful things you can do. Now let's bring everything together by talking about how romantic language in English can help you build deeper relationships. Not just in dating, but in expressing who you are, what you feel, and what matters to you. English has a rich collection of expressions, tones, and phrases that help you say things gently, honestly, and with heart. Let's begin with the importance of sincerity. When you express emotions in English, especially in romantic situations, sincerity is everything. Even simple words like, I like spending time with you, or you make me feel special, can be powerful when said with real feeling. English speakers often prefer natural, honest phrases over dramatic ones. It's not about saying something big. It's about saying something true. That's why phrases like, I enjoy being with you, I feel comfortable around you, or you bring out the best in me, are so meaningful. They're calm, soft, and emotionally honest. You don't need to use long speeches. Sometimes, one well-chosen sentence says everything. Let's also talk about how to express appreciation in romantic language. Saying, thank you for tonight, this meant a lot to me, or I had such a wonderful time, shows that you value the other person's effort and presence. These small sentences create warmth and connection. Even a message the next day that says, I've been thinking about last night, it made me smile, continues the emotion and deepens the relationship. Another powerful phrase is, you've made a difference in my life. It's often used when someone has had a deep emotional effect on you. It doesn't always mean love, but it does mean impact. You can also say, you've changed the way I see things, or meeting you has been something special. These expressions are full of respect and emotion. Now, what if you want to be poetic or thoughtful? You can use phrases like, it feels like we were meant to meet, or some people come into your life like sunlight. These are a bit more artistic, but they're still used in English conversations, especially when someone wants to express something beautiful and deep. It's a way of making feelings sound almost magical without being too heavy. Sometimes, we also express hesitation or emotional vulnerability. Phrases like, this is hard for me to say, I'm not great with words, or I hope this doesn't sound silly, but are gentle ways to introduce feelings. These openers show humility and courage, and they often make the listener pay closer attention. And let's not forget silence. In English, silence after a meaningful sentence can be just as powerful as the words themselves. For example, after saying, I think I'm falling for you, you might just pause and look at the other person. The silence gives space for feeling. In English-speaking cultures, that pause often says more than 100 more words. Finally, remember that language is more than grammar and vocabulary. When you speak from the heart, people feel it. Whether you're saying something simple like, you looked really happy tonight, or something deeper like, I never expected to care this much, you are using English to build connection. That's what makes it beautiful.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Relaxed and happy that something difficult has been stopped.
Relieved.
Do something good as a balance to a bad or hurtful action.
Make it up.
I will pay.
My treat.
Go somewhere in order to get someone or something.
Pick up.
Normal.
Ordinary.
Unplanned events that have a big impact on the future.
Twist of fate.
Hit something causing serious damage.
Crash.
Start being in love.
Fall in love. Go on a date.
Invite or ask someone to go on a date.
Ask you out.
Invite someone to go and do something.
Take you out.
Decline an invitation.
Turn down.
An expression to show excitement about something.
Look forward to.
Be in a relationship with someone.
See someone. Flirt.
Let's try that faster. I will pay.
My treat.
Normal.
Ordinary.
Hit something causing serious damage.
Crash. Go on a date.
Decline an invitation.
Turn down.
Invite or ask someone to go on a date.
Ask you out.
An expression to show excitement about something.
Look forward to.
Go somewhere in order to get someone or something.
Pick up.
Relaxed and happy that something difficult has been stopped.
Relieved.
Start being in love.
Fall in love.
Invite someone to go and do something.
Take you out.
Do something good as a balance to a bad or hurtful action.
Make it up.
Unplanned events that have a big impact on the future.
Twist of fate. Flirt.
Be in a relationship with someone.
See someone.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Relieved. This guy is such a gentleman. I feel like I'm falling in love with him. Fall in love. After their first date, she totally fell in love with him. Fall in love.